we will started from human respiratory system. Human respiratory system bring about inspiration, expiration and exchange of gases in the lungs. These are then transported by blood from lungs to different tissue or parts of the body. In blood there is a hemoglobin which react with oxygen in lungs and form oxyhemoglobin, which is carried to different tissue and part of the body by blood. Respiratory system can be divided into two parts, upper respiratory system and lower respiratory system. Here this blue part is nothing but the upper respiratory system. This violet part is nothing but the lower respiratory system. This upper respiratory system having external narrow, internal narrow, and in between these two there is a nasal cavity. Nose, throat and other associated structure in the upper respiratory system. Then lower respiratory system, this violet color structure is nothing but the lower respiratory system, having larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles and lung. These are the part of lower respiratory system. Here we will started from nose. External narrow, nose having the two slit like opening called external narrow or nostril for entry of air into the nasal cavity. नाकाची जी दोन छिद्र आहेत त्याला आपण nostril असं म्हणतो. The nasal cavity divided into right and left chambers by mesenteroid cartilage. नाकाच्या आत पाहतो आपण मध्ये एक पार्टिशन आहे कार्टिलेजचं जे नाकाच्या आतल्या पार्टला दोन भागामध्ये डिवाइड करतं. डिवाइड इंटू राइट and left nasal chambers. Each nasal chamber then divided into three regions. This first part is the vestibule. It is proximal part about the nostril. Nostril skin has hairs. On this area there is a hairs filtering the air and trapping dust and suspended particle in inhaled air. Means it perform the function filtration of air. The second part, respiratory part. This middle structure called as respiratory part, which is highly vascular, warming the blood, warming the air and moistening the inhaled air. Because of blood, highly supplied with blood vessels, when inhaled air passes through this area, it becomes warm and moistened. म्हणजे या नाकातून आलेल्या हवेमध्ये इथे आर्द्रता मिसळली जाते आणि ती गरम केली जाते. गरम का होते तर ब्लडमुळे. म्हणजे थोडक्यात कंडिशनर केले जाते. दिस रेस्पिरेटरी पार्ट ॲक्ट ॲज ए कंडिशनर. And the last part of this nasal cavity is olfactory or sensory chamber. It is the upper part lined by squamous epithelium, which is olfactory sensory epithelium for detection of smell. आपल्याला जो सुगंध वास कळतो तर त्या या ऑल्फॅक्टरी एपिथेलियममुळे. देन वी विल सी pharynx. Pharynx is common passage for ear and food. See here, from this area ear is coming, and from this area food is coming. This is the part of mouth, this is the part of nasal cavity. Means this pharynx is the common passage for air and food. This pharynx is then divided into three parts. The upper most part from nasal chamber is nasopharynx, which leads to oropharynx. It is common passage for food and air, and this continue below as a laryngopharynx. This pharynx in the neck having set of lymphoid organ called tonsil. We all know about this tonsil. It is the lymphoid organ. It acts as a gatekeeper because it prevents the entry of microorganism inside the body. Then next part, larynx. This is the larynx. Larynx is also called as voice box. And it is also called as Adam's apple. In male, it is bigger as compared to female. It is for producing voice, so called as voice box. Where it is present, what is the position? See here, this yellow part is nothing but the hyoid bone to which tongue is attached, and this is the trachea. From this hyoid to trachea, this larynx is situated. Then how is the structure? It is hollow tubular structure, tube-like, internally hollow. Its wall is made up of cartilage. It is a cartilage box. It is made from cartilage plate and held by membrane and muscles. Not only cartilage, it is held by membrane and muscles. Internally, it is lined by fold of elastic vocal cord or true vocal cord. This vocal cord are a pair of fold of elastic vocal cord, means there are two bundles of elastic vocal cord. Voice is produced by passage of air between the vocal cord. Vocal cords are very microscopic and elastic in nature, and modulation created by tongue, teeth, lip and nasal cavity. म्हणजे जेव्हा आपण नाकातून हवा आत घेतो, आपल्या ओठांची, दातांची, टंगची आणि आपल्या नेझल कॅव्हिटीची जी हालचाल होते, त्याने जे एअर प्रेशर या लॅरिंग्समध्ये पास होतं, त्यानुसार हे वोकल कॉर्ड व्हायब्रेट होतात. जशी आपण गिटारची तार छेडतो, व्हॉइस प्रोड्यूस होतो, तसे हे एअरने हे कॉर्ड्स व्हायब्रेट होतात आणि आपला आवाज, व्हॉइस प्रोड्यूस होतो. Larynx opens into laryngopharynx through a slit-like opening. Laryngopharynx open into this larynx by a slit-like opening called as glottis, and this is guarded by lip-like structure, epiglottis. It prevents the entry of food into trachea. आपण जेव्हा घशामधून अन्न गिळत असतो किंवा पाणी पित असतो, तेव्हा हा जो इपिग्लॉटिस आहे, हा या ग्लॉटिसचं जे कवर करतो, या छिद्राला झाकून ठेवतो, ज्याच्यामुळे अन्नाचे कण किंवा पाण्याचे थेंब हे या छिद्रातून आतमध्ये जाणार नाहीत, विंड पाईपमध्ये जाणार नाहीत. जेवतावेळेस आपण बोललो तर चुकून ते आपल्या श्वसन नलिकेत जातात आणि रिफ्लेक्स ॲक्शनमध्ये आपली बॉडी त्याला बाहेर टाकायचा प्रयत्न करते, आपल्याला खूप जोराचा ठसका लागतो, राईट. तर हा लॅरिंग्स, इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ॲज आदम्स ॲपल बिकॉज इट प्रोड्युसेस व्हॉइस. The next part, trachea. This lower tubular structure below the larynx called as trachea. It is long tube near about 10 to 12 centimeter in length. It is supported by C-shaped, these are the C-shaped 16 to 20 rings of cartilage. It prevents the collapse of trachea. In this diagram, here we see these are the tracheal rings near about 16 to 20, which prevent the collapsing of trachea. Then next part, bronchi. When this trachea reaches middle of the thoracic cavity, then it is divided into two parts or two branches called as primary bronchi. When it enter into the lungs, it then divided into another branches, secondary bronchi. Then it is divided into tertiary bronchi, and tertiary bronchi into terminal bronchi, bronchioles, which ending into alveoli. Here, this is the terminal bronchiole, and it end into alveoli, bunch of alveoli sac. Then we see the lungs. These are the main respiratory organ of human. One pair means two, right and left, spongy elastic lungs present in the thoracic cavity. This is the thoracic cavity in which these two lungs are present. These are spongy, means very soft, and elastic means it when an air enter, it become expanded, where it is inhaled, exhaled, इनहेलेशनच्या वेळेस ते मोठं होतं आणि एक्सहेलेशनच्या वेळेस ते परत नॉर्मल साईजचं. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज इलॅस्टिक इन नेचर. देन each lung covered by a pleural membrane, two layer of pleural membrane. There are two pleural membrane. In between there is a cavity called as pleural cavity, which is filled with pleural fluid, which act as a lubricant fluid. From birth to death we respire by the lungs, so there is a friction by inspiration and expiration. So this friction is avoided by this lubricating fluid, pleural fluid. It is secreted by pleural membrane. This right lung is divided into 3 lobes and right lung divided into only 2 lobes. Each lobe of lung has terminal bronchi, this ending into terminal bronchi, which end in bunch of air sacs. 1, 2, 3. Here 1, 2, 3. Bunch of air sacs. Single one is air sac, and these are the 2, 3, 4 means bunch of air sac. And each air sac consists of 10 to 12 alveoli. This grape-like structure, grape bunch. This bunch of grape, all grapes means this lobulated structure called as alveoli, 10 to 12 in each air sacs. Then we will see the next part, alveoli. Alveoli are thin walled, lobulated. Thin walled means lined by squamous epithelium. This is the single layer of squamous epithelium. Thin walled, lobulated means round in structure, and surrounded by capillary network. This is the pulmonary artery, this is the pulmonary vein, and these are the capillaries. This is surrounded by capillary network. These have highly elastic wall made up of single layer. This wall is made up of single layer of squamous epithelium, which is resting on basement membrane. How many alveoli are present in lungs? These are near about 700 million alveoli in lungs, and they provide the surface area for exchange of gases. Means actual function of lungs takes place in alveoli, which is exchange of gases. Here this blue color capillaries and this is red color capillaries. Blue color means deoxygenated pulmonary artery, but artery having deoxygenated blood. This is the pulmonary vein which having oxygenated blood, because here oxygenation of air or oxygenation of blood takes place. Alveoli to blood transport O2, and from alveoli blood to inhaled air CO2 is released. Means actual exchange of gases takes place through alveoli. Then last part is the diaphragm. This is the diaphragm. It is the partition between thoracic cavity. This is the thoracic cavity and this is abdominal cavity. And this is the diaphragm. It is the partition between these two cavities. It divides body cavity into two parts, thoracic and abdominal cavity. It is dome shaped. See here, it is dome shaped. And on contraction it becomes flat. Why we see here diaphragm? Because it play an important role in the respiration or mechanism of respiration. Okay, thank you.